Welcome back to Covered in Pet Hair. I'm your host, Isabel Alvarez-Arata, and today I have the pleasure of having a drink and a chat with pet parents, entrepreneurs. One of them is a wine snob, and the other is a coffee lover. They're both originally from India. They currently live in Saratoga, California, which is located in the Bay Area. They are both married, and they both have human and canine children. They are co-founders of the DogHood, which is a dog-centric platform that turns online connections into offline relationships. They are Purvi and Ruchi. Welcome, Purvi and Ruchi. It's so good to have you on the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I have so enjoyed getting to know you over social media. And I want to talk all about your hopes and dreams and the connections you're making on the DogHood. But first, I want to introduce our drinking game today. Anybody participating in our drinking game? Anytime you hear this word, make sure you take a drink of whatever you're enjoying. But please be sure you're over 21 to partake in the US. Never drink and drive, and always drink responsibly. So what are you all having tonight over in the Bay Area?
We are having a white wine named
Josh. So basically, this is a Chardonnay. This is that kind of day. We are in California. It's sunny. It's warm. It's just the right day for Chardonnay.
Yes, it is. And you guys, of course, are having a California Chardonnay. You couldn't come with anything different than a California wine in your area.
Absolutely.
No, we just absolutely love the wines here. It's just California is full of the different kinds of wines, and we love it.
I can't wait to get into your background, how you ended up in California, and how you met. And I'm actually staying local too. I'm having a classic margarita, the way I like it. Just a very simple, natural mix that I purchased at Target, which is actually quite good. Gold tequila and some tajin to keep it local and keep it authentic El Paso. So cheers. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Cheers.
And what's the portion did you use from the ready-made Target mix?
It's an organic mix.
Okay.
And so it's, a lot of the mixes come with high fructose corn syrup and all these things. And I don't have the time to make my own mix, but I also don't like the sugar content and all that of the other mix. So this is agave based, which is why I love it.
Perfect. Yeah.
All right. So first things first, I always introduce the show with a game. And today we're going to talk pet stats, because I feel like ladies who are in technology would probably have a lot to say about statistics when it comes to pets. This is a statistic-based game. It's true or false, and it's taken from stats that I found on petkeen.com. Are you guys ready to play?
Yes, we are.
All right, you guys can decide how you want to split up the answering. You can answer together. You can see who disagrees and who agrees, whatever you want. But here's number one. 5 million U.S. households own at least one pet. True or false?
True, of course.
It is true. 60% of U.S. pet owners are male. True or false?
That's
Not sure.
Yeah, not sure. I don't think so.
You're right. It's false. Actually, 60% of U.S. pet owners are females. So more females have pets than males. All right, let's see. Next one. Millennials are the generation least likely to own pets, accounting for 32% of all pet owners. True or false?
False.
False. They are the generation most likely to have pets.
Absolutely.
And they're probably and those are exactly who you're going after with your app, right?
Yes, absolutely. And we do see those numbers go
Yep.
up.
Yes. I love it. Millennials know what's up. They get a lot of heat and they get a lot of criticism, but they keep their lives simple and they know what to prioritize. And pets is one of the things they prioritize for sure. All right. Next one. Approximately 23 million U.S. households added a pet between March 2020 and May 2021. True or false?
True.
That's about right. Yeah.
It is absolutely true. Yes. Let's hope they stay in those homes, right?
Yeah. Hope so.
Yes. All right, next one. About 69 million households in the U.S. own at least one dog.
True, right?
Yeah, total
True.
75 million in total. So
Yeah,
69. Yes.
69. Yeah,
Correct.
sounds about right.
Yes, absolutely right. All right, next one. 36% of dogs were purchased from breeders. between March 2020 and May 2021. 36% of those dogs adopted during the pandemic, did they come from breeders?
That's a tricky one, but
Because
it
it could,
right.
it could be a mix of rescue breeder, but 36%
Sounds
about
right.
right.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it sounds about right. And it is true based on petkeen.com. And then the next one, approximately 390,000 dogs are euthanized in U.S. shelters annually.
It is true.
That is true.
Sad.
That is true and very, very sad.
Yeah.
Which is why we're going to talk about how your system, your app, provides support to pet owning families. The next question is, the Labrador Retriever is the most popular dog breed in America with 98,300 registered only in 2020.
It's
That's
true.
correct.
It's true.
It is. So almost 100,000 were registered in 2020. That's crazy. That's a lot of dogs of a specific breed. 85% of dog owners consider their pets family.
I think it's 100%.
It should be 100%. It should be 100%.
Yes.
But it's definitely at least 85%. And then the last one, the state with the highest rate of pet ownership, this one was surprising to me, is Wisconsin at 72%. Is that true or false?
Oh, I thought Arkansas, right?
But that area, right? So it could be true.
It could be true. Yeah.
So you're right about the area. It's actually Wyoming.
Oh.
So that was surprising to me. I always considered Wyoming. Is Wyoming like where all the dude ranches are and such? So I guess that makes sense. Like where people have more land, they have more pets.
And there are a lot of farms, which has more than 2, 3
The land,
dogs.
lots of land.
Yeah.
Right, that's true. They probably have more. We all have like 1 or 2. I have 3. At some point, I had like 5. But most people now just have like 1 or 2 in their homes in bigger cities and more dense areas. All right, awesome. So I want to know how you all met.
So it's a very interesting story. Purvi will tell her like how her journey started. But see, I always had a dog. In fact, when we got married, we didn't want to have children. We wanted to have dogs. Like that's how it was. So that's when we got it's been 25 years since I've been married. So we have always had a dog and we moved a lot. And we landed up in Saratoga in 2012. And there was no way I would have met this lady. Like I'm a dog person. I knew every dog person here, every single person. I'm also really social and I stopped working when we moved to
Really?
US.
Are you social? Oh, I can't. And from that point, so she's been here since 2012. I moved to this area in 2014, but never met Ruchi before. Okay, it's a small community, but still we have different kind of friends and groups we never met. But it's been 3 years when I'm always afraid of a dog. Okay, I was always afraid of a dog. So I never wanted a dog in my life ever, right? But I have 2 boys and a husband. All 3 really wanted a dog. And I felt like I'm just depriving them from having a dog, right? So I decided to have a dog. And with so much of anxiety, I was scared. I mean, I had little puppy at home and I was scared. And thank God I found Ruchi because she is a I think dog mommy of the area. So she'll find out, okay, where is that new puppy? Okay. So she found out that, okay, Purvi got a new puppy and she has to meet me, right? So she pinged me and said, like, let's go for a walk. And that's how we met. And it's been 3 years with Oreo. I adore him like crazy. And I think DogHood is truly because of Oreo and Ruchi. So
yes. Oh, I love that. So how did you both end up in that area? Was it work related, just choice?
So I was very close to this location, like about 20 miles from here. And we just moved here because of the school for my kids. So we moved here.
So for us, it's been like, we moved around a lot. We were, we got married in Delhi, moved to Mumbai, from Mumbai to Philippines, Manila, Makati actually, from there to Singapore to Boston. And then we had to move to California because my husband, he just changed his job. And Saratoga was just right because, Boston is so green. And when I came to California, it took me a while to fall in love with, it's very dry here, but it's also
Yep.
gorgeous. I think you can relate to it because I'm sure
Yes.
El Paso is like that. So anyway, so came to Saratoga, to look for houses. Not Saratoga, we were looking for houses all around. Saratoga is 35,000 people. It's a tiny little community. There are 3 elementary, 1 middle, 1 high. I have 1 son. I thought there cannot be a perfect community. And I was right.
Oh my
There are dogs in
gosh.
every other house. There are children who meet in the evening. The parks are full. When you go out walking, you meet like 1,000 people who are walking the dogs. It's beautiful.
I love that so much. And is that sense of community that you got used to exactly like what inspired Doghood?
Yeah, so when I met her and we started going on a walk together and we started talking, and I realized that she knows so much about the dogs. And then she said, when we start coming to the park, get Oreo socialize, all that. And we started going to the park regularly. And I see that how all the dogs play together socially, how the parents are just talking with each other. And it's like, perfect evening you want to end with. And that I felt like I told Ruchi, we have to create this everywhere. Why can't people have this, what we have it, right? We have an established community. People know each other, especially with the dogs. They come, there is a certain time, every single park, people go there, have a chat, the dogs play. I'm like, okay, we have to have this. And we can't replicate Ruchi everywhere. There is no way, right? If I could, I would, but we can't. So I said, okay, then let's build a technology, build a platform where people can use that to create something like what we have it here.
So Isabel, just a background. I'm very community. I think like this. So my community, my people and all.
Right.
An entrepreneur. She sees things in a very different way. And I think that's why a connection works. She saw this and she said, what? This is beautiful. And I refuse to believe that, why can't we have these hubs all around? And I think, that's what is the beauty of the DogHood. You take a winning formula and then you basically replicate it into as easily as possible. And that's our dream, isn't it? So have these communities all over and have people gather together, just a lot of positivity, lots of happiness.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I love that because I think a lot of people knows how important socialization is, especially in those first few months of life for dogs, but they don't know how to get that dog socialization. Yes, they can include them in their day-to-day, but there might not be dogs in their day-to-day. They could socialize into humans, but we also need socialization to dogs.
Exactly.
So I would say anybody watching who's either got a brand new puppy or is about to get a puppy, you need to download DogHood and find people in your area, because all it takes is a few dogs. Really, socialization doesn't have to be hundreds of dogs. It just needs to be those dogs that maybe are already socialized or also looking to socialize. So that's such a helpful thing for what, like you said, Purvi, it's super overwhelming to get a new dog, especially if you don't have background in it.
Yes, absolutely. And I still remember the first 4 weeks when Oreo and I stared at each other because all 3 of them went on their own stuff, and me and Oreo. And I'm like, I pretty much locked the door and I would call Ruchi, okay, you know what? I don't know why I'm so scared. What do I do now? Right. But it's just more of, she kind of gave that assurance that, okay, this is how they behave. This is what they do. Right. So it's more of a, the guidance the peer parent can give you, right? It's not that you need to know everything, but at that moment you need somebody to say that, what, he's gonna be fine, you're gonna be fine. Your vet never tells you that. When you go to vet, I keep asking, is Oreo overweight, is Oreo, they would answer the question, but they would not go and say that this is how the pattern is, right? So I think sort of a, assurance you need from a peer parent, and that's what the DogHood is all about, that there is a feature where you can ask any questions and peer dog parents can jump in and say, hey, you know what, this is exactly what happened to me, and this is how it will, so don't worry about it, right? It's just
it's the village that we need, right? I have 2 young children, a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. So I remember very recently being in that situation where I'm like, is this normal? And like you said, my pediatrician would be like, it's fine, but I want to know more.
Yeah.
And there's also, when it comes to pet care and parenting too, there's so much information out there that you don't really know how to weed through it these days.
That's right.
So having somebody that you like develop a rapport with, then you kind of have their advice, which becomes more valuable than a stranger on social media or on the internet.
And you know, what happens is, like, you know, I always feel, you know, just like how children are, no two child is the same. So which means is, like, you know, I don't think there is a perfect formula that this is exactly what you should do. I think every dog is different, just like how every child is different. And I think, you know, having a pet community helps that way. I often think like dogs are like sugar in your family. They should just like add that beauty in it. Like they should not be something which is so different drastically. So I think pet parent community does that to you, right? Like an assurance that says it's all right. You know, like dogs will follow your pattern, they follow their schedule and all that stuff. This is the way you take care. And word of mouth recommendations are so big with pet parents.
Yes.
I think that's one of the features that we have found and asked, like, you know, that's one of our features on the app. That's so powerful, isn't it? If somebody has already used it and has a very good experience on it, why wouldn't you use it? Right. So I think that's where, you know, like basically a community, an app like that really helps.
I think so. I think it's wonderful. I think it's, you know, we all have Nextdoor. We all know about Nextdoor, but Nextdoor is about contractors, and you also have vet recommendations and things, but there's a lot of noise that you have to kind of weed through because so many topics are covered. So this is so great that it's the alternative to Nextdoor that's only for dogs. It's not even for cats, guys. It's just for dogs. It's just for dog people. And it's really, I think, such a huge resource, especially for people who are new to an area, who are shy and introverted maybe, and people who are new to pet owning and pet parenting in general. So I want to take a break right here, actually. And when we come back, I want to get into more details about the app and some kind of awesome ideas and things that you've seen come from it. So don't go anywhere. I will be right back. Welcome back to Covered in Pet Hair. I'm your host, Isabel Alvarez-Arata, and today I'm speaking to Ruchi and Purvi, who actually founded an app based on their friendship and how mutually helpful they were to each other in their dog parenting journeys. And now that app is available to people all over the US. It's called the DogHood, and they are on Instagram as the DogHood Official. We'll tell you all about them. But right now, I want to get an idea of what Ruchi and Purvi have seen come from their creation, this app that makes pet parents or dog parents specifically makes connections so that they can help each other in their dog owning journeys. So guys, I'm going to play doggy dates with you, and I'm going to give you 1 minute on my handy dandy clock, and you're going to tell me, just shout them out, ideas for play dates that people can kind of go into the app and share or establish or suggest that you've seen kind of work well for newbies that come to DogHood. Are you ready to play?
Yeah.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, one of the biggest ideas, we have a feature called the events, which is a local feature on the app. The way you do it is basically, so the DogHood, it connects automatically, you know, to all your friends in your city. So the moment you download, you're connected automatically. You can call the whole neighborhood, the whole city to do things. And one of the biggest and the brightest idea is do a birthday, a doggy birthday.
Yes, it's so popular here on our app that people actually celebrate the doggies' birthdays big, right? It's a birthday party. Come at the park. This time they get the cake, they get the ice cream, and it's a wonderful event. Another one, which is my favorite, is the one-on-one play date.
Yeah.
You know, you are not sure whether, you know, your dog is going to be, you know, okay with a lot of dogs around. You can pick 1 or 2 or whatever number you can select in the pack in your city, and then you can have a play date. You can have a play date in a backyard, or you can just say, oh, you know what, let's go on a walk together.
You refer to DogHood as a support system for dog parents. And I do find that when somebody now adjusting to post-pandemic kind of life, right? There are adjustments to be made, and there are kind of changes for the pets, and we're calling them pandemic puppies, and we're seeing a lot of separation anxiety. So having other people that can help you exercise your dog, go for walks together where you are socializing and your pet is socializing, and they're learning maybe together to do a no pull walk, like a loose leash walk together, where you both are working with a skill for your dog. Would be so nice to have somebody like-minded in your local vicinity. Do you think that the vast majority of dog parents want that support? Do they even know they need that support?
I think they do. Like what are the chances? Like, suppose you have a child, right? That's one way of connecting to the community. One of the things so we do a lot of research. We have done lots of, surveys and things like that. One of the biggest things that is most challenging right now is mental health. And you know that, right? So, what happens is, like, once your child goes to school, then to college and things like that, what is the way that brings you back to your community? You need to be connected, right? Now, think about it. Most of these people have dogs, so you don't necessarily have to come to the park. But think about it. If you have a community online like this, where you think you belong, you can contribute, you can be a part of it, you can help somebody else, or just basically get like lots of happiness just looking at dog pictures,
Yes.
Yeah. And I think to your point, yes, people do need it. They just don't know. Right.
Sometimes, right?
Yeah. And again, dogs are not always your top priority when you wake up in the morning on Monday. Right. But when it comes to Tuesday, Wednesday, it's like, okay, oh my gosh, my dog has not done enough exercise, or, okay, now I think, he needs to socialize. So having something very easy on your fingertip would really help. You can just say, okay, you know what, you need a walk. Okay, let me find a buddy to play with or whatever, right? So I think everybody needs it. It's just people don't know that there is a very simple way you can make your dog walk and exercise in like 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Dog is tired, come home happy, and tired dog is always a good dog.
Right. And what's funny is I feel like we fail ourselves a lot, and maybe we'll kind of be like, oh, I'll walk the dog tomorrow. But if you've made a plan with somebody, the chances that you'll keep that commitment are really increased. So it'll be good for you and for your dog, and maybe for the other people in your house that need you to get out and need the dog out. So I like the idea of like the accountability that it creates as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And, another thing I think, for me, my journey of being a puppy owner to a dog owner to a dog lover just accelerated, right? It didn't take a long time because of the support system. And this is what we want to do. We want to make everybody's journey, even if the dog is 6 years old or 7 years old, doesn't matter. We want to make your journey healthy, happy, and positive, right? So that we can help in every single way.
I love that so much, because like we talked about in the first game, dogs get surrendered all the time because families don't have the time, families don't have the resources, families can't afford it. So if there's maybe like a community, they can all pitch in some way to make it more manageable. Even if it's just behavior tips, the dog is chewing all my Jimmy Chews. Well, this is what, Purvi did for her puppy, or this is what, Ruchi recommends for these situations. So that's so helpful without having to spend the money necessarily on behaviorist or a dog trainer, something, until it actually, comes to that point where they need a professional to step in. I think that's so wonderful. I just did an interview with a guy on social media. He's a financial advisor and CPA that calls himself Budget Dog. And we talked about a recommendation that Ramsey Solutions, the company that Dave Ramsey founded, says that you should swap. But in the example that they give online, is a cat owner taking care of a dog and a dog owner taking care of a cat. And my kind of concern with that is that dogs and cats are so different, being different species. But this is really nice because you have an established relationship with these members of your community. The dogs know each other. Maybe you've been to their house before they've been to yours. So it's a much more seamless kind of community pet sitting situation than it would be for a cat person looking after a dog or a dog person scooping a litter box, right?
Right. No, and you won't believe the finding dog boarding during a peak time on a vacation in summer. It is so hard. But if I know that, okay, Oreo is going to be fine with his friend Ollie, right? That makes me feel good that, okay, he's at the safe place. I'm not going to check, messages from my, it's like, okay, how is he doing? Right. Because they have been playing together. So he knows the environment. So I think the dog swapping is so, so powerful, especially when we are getting out of COVID and getting back to work and with all this anxiety. If somebody in a mile radius, why wouldn't you drop there rather than searching and paying like humongous amount of money just to have 2 days of boarding, right?
And again, comes back to abandoning the dogs, the cost related to it.
Right. Well, no, I mean, I can't even imagine. So I ran a pet sitting business in the DC area before the pandemic, and I know how much our clients paid, and we did our best to keep our prices as low as possible to get the highest quality people. But now that we're, that as they should, minimum wage is going to rise, right? All of the costs associated with these services are going to rise. And not everybody is going to be able to afford boarding and pet sitting in these communities that are so expensive.
Exactly. And I think this gives another kind of flavor to your, for your dog's health, right? The dog is going to be happy when you are out. You can take a vacation if you have planned with your, peer parents in your community. It's right there in your city. You don't have to go find every time when you go on a vacation. Okay, oh my gosh, let me first get Oreo settled, then I'll book my tickets. That's always the case. I first always have to find, the person who can take care of, and then say, okay, let me book my tickets. If you have something right there, find a play date, and it's just and super
plus,
easy.
These people are part of your community, right? There's a concept of trust, there's a reliance, there's a belonging. I think we all think in a similar way in a community, and that relationship has been built over time. So I think there is a lot of like as I said, reliance, that that this is going to be fine, right? And so I really think like that's a concept that we are trying to push, and that's a concept that we are trying to bring. We are saying like this is such a beautiful thing to do, get the communities together, like this is what you can do for each other, and let's see if this trend picks up.
I think it will, and I think it should, because I mean, I have older dogs, so it's a little bit different for me, but the majority of dogs are able to be cared for in a neighbor's house with their neighbor friend, and vice versa. I mean, when I was delivering my baby, my neighbor took, my toddler. And that's kind of, if it wasn't for the fact that I have 4 dogs and it's a little bit different, I wouldn't put that on a neighbor that had 1 dog baby. But if I had 1 or 2 dogs and I had that established relationship, it would be a no-brainer, because again, they'd already have gotten to know my dog. So when it comes to these kinds of benefits of using an app, your app specifically, what do you say to the introverts who are like, I don't want to bother anybody. I don't want, I know that I need this and I know that my dog could benefit, but I'm scared. What do you say to them?
So one thing is, I'm not sure if we mentioned this, when you download an app, there is no personal details has been asked. So it is dog to dog connection strict. It's not about who is going to judge who, because there is no humans involved, right?
Yes.
So that's why we don't have any personal details. So I feel for the introverts too, if it is all about dogs, I think it's going to be even more simpler rather than going and asking for the references, all that. This is like on your fingertip. Let's see if the dogs are okay. Then you just swap the days. Okay, I'm going out on a vacation in June and you're going in August. Let's take care of each other's dog. It makes it even much more simpler, I feel.
And then you have something to work toward, right? You have something to work together to establish that relationship, because you have, especially this time of year, you have upcoming dates, you know what they are, you go and you meet somebody, you hit it off, and maybe you even get a personal friend, right? But like offline.
Exactly. And those relationships, as she always says, those are the online connections turn into offline relationships, right? That's a prime example.
Absolutely. I love the concept. I think it's just such a gift. I hope that more people start signing up. I actually have the app downloaded. I only registered Titan. And then I realized, like you said, that at no point did I really share mine. So I'm going through like the news feed that you have there, and I'm like liking, the birthdays. This dog is turning 15 and this dog's turning 3 and this event is happening. And it felt really sweet, but I didn't even realize that I was interacting as Titan until you said that.
Oh, so you are Titan's mom. Okay, you are the one who liked Oreo's post. I'm Oreo's mom.
Yes, I did. Today I liked Oreo's post. And it's funny because I didn't expect El Paso. El Paso is on the border with Mexico. The culture and dog in the South, the culture of dog rearing is very different than in many other states. Having come from Virginia, Northern Virginia, the DC area, people really take really good care of their dogs there. They have more education. They understand their needs better. In the South, there's a little bit of a kind of a laissez-faire kind of attitude toward pet parenting. It's getting better and there's more education left and right. And there are trainers coming, but like we have one positive based trainer in all of our city. So I wasn't expecting to see much activity, but I did find people who have already downloaded the app in El Paso. So I can only imagine. I can only imagine in busier or more like dog centric areas, how busy, how many users do you have in like these busy areas?
So, Isabel, we are so excited. Our dream was to basically build these hubs. So we are in more than 200 cities, but the way the app is building up, we can see these communities develop.
Yeah. And we have, I think the California is big. So we have San Jose, Saratoga, Los Angeles. In fact, the New York, the engagement is so high there because again, the space issue and people want to walk a dog together or they want to find a companion, right? So, those 5 cities are really growing. And I feel so even if certain cities which has the, less than 50 or, users, but they are upcoming, right? But we have the top 5 cities which are growing really phenomenally. It's the way we have envisioned, right? Because
that is so cool.
Yeah, and you can actually check our website and see, we are putting all the pictures of different events in different cities. And you can take a look how people are meeting up and what are those cities building up.
I love that.
I think gratifying, when we get the reviews. I think like people texting us, like, people writing to us, that I think gives you like such an energy because, this is our dream. And then when you come to see like the way it is coming up, the way it is growing, and it just makes you like, feel really good about yourself. Like, this is what we love it.
Are there any love connections happening? And I'm not referring to the dog love connections because I'm sure there's a lot of dog love, but like any human love connections?
I see. We have built a platform for you to use to make love connections with Doggie or other way. We don't know, right?
Yes.
Here it's like more like a blind date. It's a Doggie date. It's a blind date. You go meet, and it's more of our connection than a Doggie connection. So who can have connections without knowing each other, meeting, and definitely, we hope that we want to bring love, happiness, and positivity.
Yes.
And if our platform can do that,
I love it. And it's no pressure, right? Or low pressure because it's really not about you guys hitting it off. It's about your pet, your dogs hitting it off. So if there's no love connection,
that's fine.
That's fine too.
Because people don't really get to go to the next step if the dogs are not getting along. Oh, okay, you know what?
Yep, exactly. See you later. The dogs didn't hit it off. We can't. So I love that so much. I also want to add that the app is free to download. So I think that's such a huge resource. I hope more people take it and use it to its full advantage. So tell us, how can people learn more about DogHood?
Come join us on the social media, come on the app, send us emails. There are so many different channels that you can do that. We are there.
And social media, in fact, our social media and Instagram and Facebook, we do post very regularly and we kind of educate. Again, end of the day, it's an app. So very little education, you can do it by writing it on the app. But when you follow us on our social media, we have pretty much every day some or the other kind of tip or education or just a fun stuff, so it will give you a smile on your face, guaranteed. Okay. That's for sure.
I love it. I can't wait for it to reach more people. I just want to propose a toast to you both for your awesome energy, the positivity, and the connections. Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks to you.
Our glass is empty. You need to drink up yours.
I know. I've been nursing it. I also want to propose a toast to my executive producer, Mark Winter. Thank you, Mark. And to our audience. Thank you so much for joining me and my awesome guests. Here's to a life covered in pet hair, because there's no better way to live. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. I've so enjoyed talking to you. To learn more about Covered in Pet Hair, please visit coveredinpethair.com or petliferadio.com. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.